Good day, it's Miss Lynn Sison here. We are going to be going over today how to calculate speed. So speed is a word you're, I'm sure, familiar with. And from a physics standpoint, speed is the rate at which an object's moving. So you probably have seen rates before if you've talked to your parents about buying a car, or there's a lot of different rates that you might have. So this is the rate at which an object is moving. And it's a pretty simple formula. Speed, and we're talking primarily about average speed right now, equals distance divided by time. So we'll come back to this triangle. This is not a math class, but like a lot of science classes, there's a lot of math in there. We are going to be using three variable equations all year long. So I have a standard way that I solve three variable equations. I'm going to explain it to you, and then we're going to go over some examples. So the first thing you want to do is read the question, and then highlight, underline, circle key information. Make a chart with your variables, put the information from the question in the chart, write the equation, solve the problem. So let me show you how that's going to go. I'm going to skip that one. So here is one that I have already set up for you. So Sam traveled from 0 meters to 10 meters in 5 seconds. What was his speed if he traveled at a constant rate the whole time? So I look here. Here's my little table right here. And I've already set this up where I put distance, and then I put the unit that I'm measuring distance in, the time, the unit I'm measuring time in, speed, and the unit I'm measuring speed in. This is the variable, speed is the variable that we are not going to try to solve, we're going to solve for in this equation. So then I'm going to write the formula for speed. I definitely wouldn't write it all out like that. I would just write it like this, just the 3 letters. I was just writing it in words so you could see it. And then you're just going to solve. So speed is in meters per second. So I'm going to take 10 meters. That's my distance. So because you went from 0 to 10 meters, so you just to figure out how far you've gone as you take where you started from minus where you ended up. So it's 10 meters. 10 minus 0 is 10. And it took 5 seconds for Sam to travel. So Sam's speed is 2 meters per second. That's a super easy one. If you use this system, so then you could, if you want to, go back and put it in your chart. I'm going to tell you I don't usually do that. And then also the other thing, probably not as important this year because we're not going to be using paper, but it's much easier for me if you put it in a box once you found the answer. So that's solving any 3 variable equations. In this particular one, we're solving for speed. If a car is traveling so let's go ahead and just do this one. If a car is traveling 400 meters in 20 seconds, what is its speed? So we've got a distance, and I'm going to keep writing in meters. Just, you might not always need to do this, but for right now, when we are not quite knowing how to do this, I'm just going to keep writing my units. Okay, so that's my question mark. So I'm just going to put it in a different color. That's my question mark. That's what I want to answer. So I know my formula is speed equals distance divided by time. So the speed is going to be 400 meters. And again, this is not something you'll always have to do, but just in case until you get used to it, it might be a good idea to put your units in the equation, because it makes it real easy to know what the units are for your answer. So when I say 20 meters per second, what that means is that a car every second is traveling 20 meters. So if you were going to put it on a number line, and speed is always going to be a positive, because you can't have negative speed. It's kind of like negative time. You can't have negative speed. So that means if it starts right here, this is our initial position. So this is position of 0 and time of 0. So if we put 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it means after 1 second, it would be 20 meters away from the starting point, 40 meters, 60 meters. Let me put the meters on there. So that's what the rate of speed is. It means for each second, this car goes 20 meters. All right, so here's another one. So if you move 50 meters in 10 seconds, what is your speed? So we're going to have a distance in meters of 50 meters. We're going to have a time in seconds of 10 seconds. And what we want to know is our speed, and that's going to be in meters per second. That's our question mark. So I'll put it on green this time. Looks like Christmas. Let's just choose a different color. So then you would write speed. And I'm just going to write this, but you don't necessarily have to write all of this. Just helps you to kind of focus on what's important. So my speed's going to be in meters per second. My distance is 50 meters. It took me 10 seconds to get those to move those 50 meters, which makes my speed 5 meters per second. All right. All right, here's one. I chose this one because I want you to recognize that in physics, we are going to have a lot of decimals. And my experience with decimals and students, it's not their favorite thing, but just get used to it. That's not exactly how I wanted it. Doesn't really make any difference which order you write these variables in. I tend to get pretty consistent, but it's really not that big a difference. All right. So distance, speed equals distance divided by time. So speed equals 90 meters, 45 seconds. So my speed is 2 meters per second. So that is actually super slow. I don't think that you're moving that slow, but I don't know, I've seen y'all before. Maybe you do move that slow. So if we were doing pencil and paper, you would put a box around it. It's going to be interesting not doing pencil and paper. Okay, I'm going to kind of skip. I skipped that one. You can go back and do that one if you want to. So time. Now, the good part about this triangle, and this is why I wanted to show you now how this triangle works, is that it allows you to take your formula, our basic formula, which is speed equals distance divided by time, and rearrange it so you can figure out whatever variable you're missing. Some people call this a magic triangle. I don't believe in magic. It's all illusions. It's not magic, it's math. So here's how it works. So now I want to I want to calculate time. For these problems that we're getting to, we're calculating time. So what you'll do to do this is put your hand over whatever variable you're solving for. So you can't see my hand, but I have it over time. And then the problem is set up for you. So if I want to calculate time, I'm going to divide distance by speed. So let's look. Here's the thing about the triangle. If you like the triangle and it's something that works for you, go ahead and use it. If it confuses you, I wouldn't use it then. So it's whatever makes sense in your head. It is something that can help you if you would like to use it. Okay, so for this one, we have a distance, and that's in meters, of 5 meters. We have a speed in meters per second of 1 meter per second. And then we are looking for the time, and the time is going to be in seconds. So to calculate time, you are going to take your distance and divide it by the speed. So time is still going to be in seconds. Distance is still going to be in meters. And your speed is still in meters per second. So now what we're going to do to know what the unit is going to be if you forget, you're going to do what you would in any math class. You're going to cross out the things that are the same. And what this is telling you is that, whoops, hello. Sorry. What this is telling you that the time it takes to get 5 meters, if you're moving at 1 meter per second, is going to be 5 seconds. All right, let's do one more like that. You need to get to class, and your class is 200 meters away, and you can only walk in the hallways at about 2 meters per second. If you run any faster, you'll be caught for running. How much time will it take you to get to class? So here's another one where we are calculating time. So what we know is the distance is 200 meters. Your speed that you're going at is 2 meters per second. And our time is going to be in seconds, but we don't know what that is. So time equals distance divided by speed. So our time is going to be in seconds. Our distance is in meters. And our speed is in meters per second. So what this is saying is if that's a rate that you're moving at, it's going to take you 100 seconds to move 200 meters because you're moving at 2 meters per second. All right, I'm going to skip that one just so this is not, video doesn't get too long. So again, with the triangle, so if now I'm looking for whoops. I'm sorry, guys. Let me redo this. Hello. Okay, if I'm looking for distance, all I have to do is multiply time and speed. So if you covered up distance, you know you're going to multiply time times speed. How far, so that's distance, away from your little brother with a squirt gun filled with paint. If you can, how far will you get away from your little brother with the squirt can filled with paint if you can travel at 3 meters per second and you have 15 seconds before he sees you? So we know our time which is 15 seconds. We know our speed, which is 3 meters per second. And now we want to figure out how far we can get away from our brother. So distance in meters equals the time in seconds multiplied by the speed, and that's going to be in meters per second. So you would be able to get 45 meters away from your brother in 3 seconds if the rate, in 15 seconds, if the rate you were moving at was 3 meters per second. So if you drew this on a number line, it would be at 1 second you would be 3 meters away, at 2 seconds you would be 6 meters away, and so on and so on. It's very, I'm a super visual person, as y'all already know. And it's just really important for you to draw pictures if you're not sure about something to help you conceptualize it. So how far can your little brother get? So how far? If he can travel at 2.5 meters per second in 5 seconds. All right, so how far away can he get from you? So now we've got our distance is what we want to find out. Our time is 5 seconds, and our speed is 2.5 meters per second. So distance equals time times speed, and my time is 5 seconds. His time is 5 seconds, and he's moving at a rate of 2.5 meters per second. So your brother can get 12.5 meters away from you. All right. So that's how you solve speed problems. So we went over solving for speed just to solve for speed, distance, and time. All right. Hope this helps. Have a great day.